South of the city of Neverwinter lies the fortified monastery of Helm's Hold. In this ancient temple dedicated to the dead god Helm, victims of the spell plague are treated for their suffering. Or so it seems. There are whispers that fiendish cultists have taken hold of the area, breaking the body and spirit of those who would stand against them. It is time to take back this bastion of healing from those who would corrupt the souls of the living and send the devils back to the nine hells.
It's incredible, huh? What's even more incredible is when we launch, the game will be 100% free to play. So you create an account, you don't even put a credit card on file, you jump in and you play. We've got more trailers available online at playneverwinter.com, so make sure to check those out. We're going to talk a little bit about the Foundry next, but before I do, if you'd like to ask a question, please feel free to start lining up. We'll have a short amount of time for some Q&A. We did a poll of hands earlier if you played D&D, the pen and paper game, but who's actually been a dungeon master? All right. Who's ever wanted to create a video game? Okay, cool. Well, you're going to be able to do something similar to that with the Foundry, and if you haven't heard about it, it's completely amazing. So Randy's going to talk a little bit about it.
Sure. I'm just going to provide a brief overview of it. Foundry is quite an extensive system, so I'm just going to feature some of the highlights of it. It's a user-generated content system, which basically means that you take on the role of a dungeon master who creates an adventure for adventurers to play through. So, it gives you a set of very accessible tools that allows you to create quests, where you can define dialogue trees and quest objectives. You can actually create dungeon maps, so you can actually choose a bunch of preset tiles that are kind of pre-populated, and then you can actually add your own details to it. So, if, for example, if you choose a different type of environment, like a crypt or a room, whatever, you can say, well, I want some tables here, and I want to put these lamps and rugs and everything, and you can actually set the quest objectives in those places. We also have a fairly extensive set of character customization assets too, for like monsters and NPCs. So you can take a preset, orc, for example, and modify the look of it. So we'll change the clothing, coloration, etc. Give your own distinctive NPCs, like non-player characters, or actual quest givers, etc.
So we have just about every single character in the game that we've developed available in UGC. So you can take any of those main characters and put them in your own missions. Similarly with the environment stuff, we've tried to make almost everything that we're creating available to the player.
Exactly, very modular design. So it's a very extensive library for you to kind of play with and be creative. And once you're done kind of putting together your quest and dungeon map, etc., you just publish it online, right? So you publish it, it goes up to the server, people start playing with it. We have a rating system involved with it, so there's a lot of peer reviews. And the playability of it is very accessible too. Is that you can go to a number of places in the Neverwinter environment, and you can go into a tavern, and the bartender will say, hey, I've got another great quest for you.
We had this one like first, I'll go between the two once we get your. So if you guys want to split up, you're more than welcome, or you can stay out and watch. Your questions?
Hi. I've been playing D&D ever since Baldur's Gate. Actually, I played this computer game, and then I found out there was an actual pen and paper game. One of the best games I saw was Demon's Stone, when they put the R.S. author in there. And I have to admit, when I heard about Perfect World, buying, I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Because I was so excited for it. And you guys really I'm really impressed. I mean, I'm just like the lore, everything. I mean, helm. I mean, I was shocked he even mentioned, you know, it's like, you guys did a really good job.
Well, if there's something that we don't hit on, again, the UGC, I'm sure all the players that start messing with that, they will create like pretty fast.
When I played Neverwinter Nights 2, I mean, I didn't even realize that there was campaign games. Like, I got caught up with all the community content, everything else. It was like, so crazy, and I finally played it. You guys do an awesome job.
So for Joe and Randy, how many zones like Elm's Hold or Velasco are in the game? Or will be at launch?
I don't know.
I don't know if we can say it.
Yeah.
A lot. It's, you have many, many zones.
I don't know if you should say that. Expectations.
First, my comment is don't worry so much about green versus rust-colored kobolds, because as an avid D&D player, that's one of the biggest things I like when I see different variations of the art. Because to me, I look at it, oh, well, they're just a different race of kobolds at some point. Or it's a difference for me between a mountain troll, a hill troll, surface troll, or excuse me, whatever. So, first there. But my question is, how are we doing with character death in the game?
Is that more of a design question?
Sure. It is the type of thing where we don't necessarily want character death is always interesting in it because you don't want everyone to lose your character, right? So we're still playing around with a little bit of the traditional MMO models for that, right? So when you die, there are places where there are campfires set through the zone. So it's assuming like off screen that your companions hold you back to a spot, did a resurrection ritual, and so you basically start off fresh again. Well, you have to recover your hit points of it, pretty much. You respawn, basically.
Okay.
Right. So, because we didn't want it, for the most part, you want players to keep playing the game, right? And you don't want to have a lot of downtime while you're resurrecting or earning cash to resurrect and things. So yeah, we made that a little more accessible. So.
Thank you.
Hi. My question is more about character looks. In most MMO games, especially item-driven games like Rift and Warcraft, you tend to go after the strongest items, and then everybody looks much more the same, more or less, visually speaking.
You mean the player characters?
Yeah, the player characters.
So we are making a big effort to make each class very distinctive. And early on when Neverwinter was a much smaller scope, each class looked distinctive, but it wasn't leaving much room for even like subclasses. Like with rogues, you have trickster rogue, you have cutthroat rogue, and so on. And now that we've expanded Neverwinter out, we are ensuring that if you're playing a trickster rogue, or you see somebody playing a trickster rogue, you recognize that because his outfit kind of follows that theme, and we're making a huge effort to make sure that it feels good to leveling up, and as you get the higher quality gear and loot and weapons, that it still has that overall look, but retains the actual class features and looks awesome. And then with the different classes as well, we have, actually I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh yeah, we do have Paragon classes as well, and that's like, so then that goes into, I don't know how much, I guess everybody here is D&D fans, so Paragon class also has a distinctive look, and we are ensuring that every class is very unique, and you can also get color packs, die packs, so that way you can customize each of those looks a little bit to your taste as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, character customization is like any crypto games. It's always been a very high priority thing for us because we want players to create the type of characters that they want. And of course, we again go back to Wizards and say, hey, what are the range of different types of drow that we can use? And they say, well, okay, drow drow have these colors, they have red eyes, and they can point to them and say, oh, we gotta make sure they have red eyes and that. And we made sure that we restricted certain types of things to different player races. And then expanding out from there, like what Joe already mentioned, the die packs and everything that allows you to customize the colors of your items and everything. It doesn't get in the way of the class items and everything, because we have really good itemization. Right? So when you actually are out in the world and you see people fighting, or going through a dungeon with your friends, it's very easy to tell, hey, here's the Guardian Fighter, there's the Control Wizard and everything, because of the way the powers are displayed and what they're wearing. So it's very distinctive and unique.
We got about 5 minutes left, so we're going to take these 2 questions quickly, and then we'll do the raffle.
My question is more around class structure, character structure. Like, what you mentioned that you have many different character classes, like Trickster Rogue, Control Wizard, Guardian Fighter. How do they interact with each other? Because a lot of MMOs, you have one person who is the warrior, you have one person who heals, and the rest of them just deal damage. I'm wondering if you're following a similar formula, or if you're going to be more along the lines of how many people are a good party to have.
Well, we're building everything towards the classic the classic D&D party, right? So the most effective ones are in a group of like 4 or 5 people with you probably want to have a Guardian Fighter to lay on the tank for you. You want some DPS, so that's where the Trickster Rogue or the Great Arcane Fighter comes in. You want to have healing support, so having a devoted cleric is the best part of the party. And then we also have incorporated skills into the game too. So each of them have their own roles in the environment, where their thieves are disarming traps, and the wizards are removing explosive ruins and stuff like that. So having a good mix is really important. You can survive on different configurations, but for the most part, balance is important.
I'll add to that when we've been playing internally, we've often just sometimes we plan our groups, and sometimes we deliberately don't. So we'll show up with 3 Guardian Fighters and 2 Rogues, and no healer. And yeah, we're able to do most of the content. It requires you to adjust your play style a little bit. You have to think maybe before pulling again or running into another group of mobs or something. But it's possible and it's fun. It changes the experience.
Yeah, you have to adjust your tactics basically. It's like, well, we don't have a cleric, so we're going to have to stock up a little more.
It's in that way, it's much like the tabletop experience, maybe a little bit more forgiving, where if you don't have a prepared problems.
My question is in the PvP action, would there be any fighter-to-fighter, player-to-player action in the arena or an environment, or also a combination of races? Let's say, you have the kobold section, but let's say that you go into between 5 and 2 kobolds and dwarves, and then there will be a mix between the different getting in between, or what would be those two aspects of PvP action and a combination of 2 races fighting each other, and then you go as a third person, like either a spy or a scout mission to kind of incite that kind of action either one.
I think we probably can't answer too much about the PvP at this point.
Yeah,
so
it's something we're working on. So I would say that.
What about the aspect between 2 races, fighting each other, anything like that?
So it would likely be your own characters. So if you're a drow, then you play as your drow character. If you're a tiefling, you play as your tiefling character. But it won't be separating racial factions or anything like that.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, some great questions. Give it up for our panelists.